I'd like to call the regular city council meeting to order for March 2nd, 2026. Roll call, please. 6 o'clock.
Mr. Anderson,
Present.
Mr. Bateman,
Present.
Mr. Becky,
Present.
Mr. Parrott,
Present.
Mr. Downs,
Present.
Mrs. O'Donoghue.
Present.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, is there any public participation? I don't see anybody here, so I'm assuming not. So I'll move down to number 5, the consent agenda, which includes A, payment of bills, B, approval of minutes from February 17th, 2026, regular city council meeting, and C, request from the Logan County Pride to close Pulaski Street from Kickapoo Street to McLean Street and McLean Street from Pulaski Street to the Lincoln's Art Institute from 11 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. on Saturday, June 6, 2026. That's a misprint on the agenda for the Logan County Pride Festival.
Move to approve.
Second.
Point of order.
Yes.
Can we separate those? Or do we all vote them under all together? Can we separate 1 to 2 and 3?
You can make a motion to remove one of them.
And make a motion to remove
Ti-
C.
Time out. Who made the original motion?
Rhonda made the motion. Stan seconded it.
Okay.
Now, Tim would like to make a motion to,
Separate C from that, and A and B can be together, but C can be separate.
okay, do we
Separate vote.
have a second on that?
Second.
Steve second. So, roll call vote on the amendment.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donoghue,
No.
Mr. Anderson,
No.
Mr. Bateman.
No.
Oh, Mr. Becky. Sorry, I'm off.
And I'm sorry, what was the? I'm sorry? Yes.
So it's 3-3.
Yeah, there's no mayor to break the tie, so motion fails. So we'll move on to the original motion of voting on all three together.
Mr. Anderson,
Wait, I'd like some discussion first. I'll be voting no since we're not going to be able to separate these out. I don't believe item C represents a Republican platform or conservative Christian values, so I'll be voting no.
Any other discussion?
No, I would be under the same vote as no.
So do we only represent Republicans and Christians in the city of Lincoln? Just asking.
I'll be voting yes because I represent everyone who lives in my ward, and there's a diverse background of a multitude of different people, of different races, sexual identity, and I represent everybody, and I feel like that's a divisive route.
The motion is for a road closure, not saying that we're supporting anyone. It's for a road closure.
I agree with that statement. It's a vote on a road closure. You can choose to attend or not to attend, but I agree with what Sam and Rhonda is pointing out, is that we're elected to represent all the people in Lincoln, not just what our party affiliation is or our beliefs.
And I would say that that's not wise primarily. I mean, there's other reasons behind that, and one of them is that I don't believe it's good for the community as in that personal preference and my Christian belief. So there's just a lot more to that besides separating those two. But it is a consideration, and I'm looking to the benefit of my ward, and I just don't think that has worked in the past, and I just would not be approving of that. And he's right. It is agreeing for the closure. And one of my other reasons was why they were not using, they said they outgrew the Logan County Fairgrounds. And in defining that a little more, she said, well, just a little grassy area. So, I mean, that fairgrounds holds 4,000 people, but what I assume is maybe one of the reasons it costs to rent the area in the fairgrounds. I mean, we have a great facility there as well, and I just cannot see blocking up all those roads for that reason specifically as a belief system in which they have, and just goes against
So
my
then are you
reasons for
thinking that we shouldn't close the roads downtown for anyone to have any kind of event?
No,
Or is it
I
just
bel-
for the Pride Festival itself?
Yeah, I believe it. And there are a number of things. If there was something else that was against what I believe would be to the benefit of the community, like something abstract, like pornography. Let's share pornography in our community. I wouldn't want to support that either. And agreeing to that is against the betterment of the community as a whole, not for specific people. I'm not saying I'm dictating that they side with what I believe. I'm just saying for me specifically and what I believe it's the best benefit for my community, I don't believe that's sharing that.
When this was put on the agenda, the mayor said the consent agenda, and everybody agreed to put it on the consent agenda. If you don't want something to, the consent agenda is always the payment of bills and the minutes. If you don't want something, if you don't want to vote on something that's in those two categories, then at that time you need to say, no, I want it on the regular agenda, not the consent agenda.
And there's
Moving
two different terminologies for that. On the agenda, it says omnibus vote. It doesn't say consensus. It says omnibus vote. If you're going to name this terminology of that, and again, it's my maybe not understanding of all that nomenclature, all those the typical words that mean that same thing. But this was just the first time I'd seen it consolidated on these three topics before, because in the past meetings that I've attended, we have never had that omnibus vote title. And that threw me off, and it was my ear in missing that, obviously. But it was described here underneath that omnibus description as what that means. You're either voting for all of them as a yay instead of voting them separately. And I didn't think it was appropriate to separate, common bills and our the minutes to an actual closure, because that's not a common thing that we do every week.
But what the clerk is describing, Tim, is last week when the mayor said, do you want this on the consent agenda? Nobody objected. At that time, you could have said, no, I would rather it be on the regular voting session, because omnibus means one vote covers everything under this topic. Federal government does it
I
all
agree.
the time. So moving forward, if there's something that you feel you would like a separate vote, then you should suggest that it goes on the regular agenda, not the consent agenda.
And now I know that. So.
Yes, sir.
I would just suggest that moving forward, if that's the way you want to go, typically the road closures have found their way on the consent agenda. So either put all the road closures on the consent agenda or put none of the road closures on the consent agenda. I would suggest treating them all the same moving forward. And I also like to remind the council that if you want to talk, please raise your hand to be called on by the mayor pro tem for a chance for your turn to speak.
Did I not?
Not for a while.
Yes, ma'am.
I would say, moving forward, nothing's on the consent agenda except payment of bills and minutes, and leave it at that. That's my suggestion. You all
Clerk
decide.
has spoken. That being said, roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Becky?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
No.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to number 6, ordinances and resolutions. Item number 7 is the approval of purchase and installation of an on-demand hot water system for the Lincoln Police Station from Dean Leith Plumbing and Heating Incorporated an amount not to exceed $10,500.
So, second.
Motion made by Mr. Downs, second by Mr. Parrott. His hand is up, so I'm calling on Chief Meister.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I did a little bit of research at the request of the council regarding the rental of a water softener. I found that there's a $450 charge just up front for the install and things like that. It's $74 a month for rental, and then it's about $13.05 for a bag of salt. And they'll deliver them 10 at a time, so that we have some in storage. So that's what I learned from Dan Leith over the past week since we met last.
Mrs.
That
O'Donoghue
From
has her
renting it
hand.
from lease, or is that, okay, so they do a rental system there?
Yes, they do. And again, the price of the unit itself, if we were to purchase it outright, is $3,215. So it'd take a little over 3 years to pay that off, if you're comparing renting versus buying.
So my question is, it's your facility, sir. Which we gave you the option to look into it. So which direction would you like to go to?
I talked to Deputy Chief Comstock about it a little bit today. He's got a little bit more experience. He actually used to work at Culligan way back in the day, and service those types of things when he was doing that job. He didn't think it was a bad idea to do the rental for a few years and see what the longevity of the item is. So I think I'm going to follow his advice. That's why I put him in the position I put him in.
Mrs. O'Donoghue?
So then we gave enough money up front in this bid here to go ahead and just do the softener then with it and just do it all in one as we do this.
Yes, and there's a little bit of cushion there just in case they run into something that is unexpected.
Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, Chief Meister, this water softener that Leith Plumbing is bidding you for a rental, that does meet the requirements that they'd like to see for the
Right,
system?
it was all on their recommendation.
Perfect.
Trust the experts.
Yes. Yep. Thank you.
So I have my hand up. So, Mr. Bateman. Well, I had done some research on my spare time myself, and I agreeing with Mr. Becky on the rental for this reason. Technology is constantly changing. So you may rent one for 3 years, and then the latest, greatest, newest thing come down the line where, it's new technology lasts longer, kind of like the on-demand hot water systems are nowadays. So I agree with your theory of at least a 3-year rental agreement. Mr. Parrott, did you have your hand up?
Whether you're going to purchase or rent, is it the same unit?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Becky?
Thanks for checking that out. I did try to get to check it out, to see the system, since you're so close to where I live. But my question was, and I talked to a couple individuals that have installed these units, and the thing that they brought up to be just aware of with the tankless is that for the warranty to be valid, sometimes the system every year has to be flushed and inspected. Does Dean Leith do the good?
Yep.
So they're
Yeah,
inspected to know it's.
They offered to either train us to do it ourselves or just come once a year. And probably it's best to, again, trust the experts and
So
let
the
them do their thing.
So if I understand correctly, so the tank, and this, again, I don't mean to throw any wrenches in it, but I just happened to notice on the Henson, it almost looked like they had 2 tankless units in there, but Leith suggests just the one unit, or is he installing 2 tankless? Because you mentioned all the showers and
Right.
how many people were going to be there. It's like 30 people.
No, they suggested double system, but that's what this.
Oh, it is. Okay, good. So we're comparing apples to apples. So it's the tankless system. You still have then you're gonna have the soft water, and then you also have not a purification system, but a straining system of some type.
We have if you have a whole house filter,
Yes,
we
that.
have one of those,
You got
but
those.
it's the commercial grade. It's very,
Yeah.
very large.
That's great. Yeah, that's. So I was thinking of you, long-term with the rental, because why should you or anyone within your department have to be concerned with, that breaking down again and then going through the same process? I was just kind of looking at it long-term, saving time.
All right, any other comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donoghue,
Abstain.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes,
Mr. Becky.
Yes.
motion passes. Treasurer's annual report.
Thank you.
Mr. Treasurer Chuck Conzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem Bateman. You've all received copies of this in your agenda packet. I did not print copies for everybody, but if you decide you want one, I certainly be happy to do that. I would also point out that this will be published in the Lincoln Courier in the Wednesday edition, which would be March 4th. If you would like to see it there, I'd suggest getting a copy of that. But, again, like I said, I'd make copies for anybody who wants them. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This is reported in a little different way. You saw the audit last year last week that Lori presented. That's done on an accrual basis. This, as it states here, is done on a cash basis. And you see the different sources of revenue and how they're grouped together. Some of them are up somewhat from last year if you look at last year's report, and some of them are not. And I think we've discussed that quite a bit during the monthly reports too, and the annual report would support that. Everything else, the compensations are listed there and they're grouped together. I've pointed this out in previous years, and I will again. If you take that 25,000 to 49,000, almost everybody in there. There's a few people in there who retired early in the year, so they had a month or 2 months worth of pay, and people who started near the end of the fiscal year, it's the same situation there. But except for those, I guess about 3 of those that are listed in there, except for them, all the people in there are civilian office staff. And I've talked a lot about trying to get those pay increased, and we have come a long way in the last few years in doing that, but we still have a ways to go. And that's why you see all of them in that bracket. Pension payments, as you know, the fire and police pension, they get a annual increase of 3%. The survivors do not. There's no increase for those. Expenditures are all listed there in alphabetical order that are greater than $400. Some of the major ones in there are IEPA loan payment. That's $1,048,302.98. Some of the other, and there's, you'll see payments to Heartland Bank. Well, that's because the bank serves as a bond registrar. So the GO bonds and the alternate revenue bonds, and in one case there's a loan through Heartland Bank. So that's what those are for. And the loan is relatively small, but the bond payments are substantial, and that's why you see that amount there, that $577,745 plus. Some of the other large ones there, Health Alliance, $646,797, and that's, when you hire somebody, you not only have the salary cost, but you have a health insurance cost, and health insurance costs have gone up a lot in the years since the Obamacare was enacted several years ago, and they've kind of increased at a higher rate than they did before that. And then some of the other things that you see there are from projects that we had over the last couple of years, and you can go through them at your convenience and see what they are. And then at the end, you see the grand total that we've listed there for you. If you have questions about what some of these are, I would be happy to try to answer them, and some of them might have to go back and look through the detailed reports or even through the invoices to tell you what they are. But everything's listed there. If you took all the rest of them that are under $400, they come out to $15,565.34. So this covers almost everything. If you want to know what's in those other ones, let me know. They're anywhere from $1 up to just under $400.
Any questions for the treasurer? Thank you, Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you.
moving down to number 9, motion to approve the annual audit for fiscal year 24-25, even though nobody turned in their 1,000-word minimum report that they were asked to after reading it.
Fell asleep.
Oh, no. We can't
Entertain a
have that.
motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. O'Donohue, second by Mr. Parrott. Any discussions about the audit? Roll call, please.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donohue,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Becky,
Yes.
Motion approved. And 9B, approval of an economic development grant to Megan Beard, doing business as Lincoln's Loft at 427 Pulaski Street for a lower roof replacement in the amount not to exceed $7,500.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Anderson, second by Mr. Downs. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donohue,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Becky,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott.
Yes.
That concludes tonight's agenda. To move down to announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? Yes, Mr. Parrott?
I have a couple. I didn't know if our attorney, John Hoblet, if you had any, if you were able to do any research on whether or not we could require the utilities to put in metal for the fiber optics tops like they do for the water versus this plastic stuff that keep breaking when people run over it with a vehicle or a lawnmower or anything like that. I didn't know if that's a possibility or not in an ordinance or something to that effect.
I would think with moving forward, we could do that for moving forward, but for the boxes are already there. Typically what I've seen for ordinances, they're usually proactive after the entry. They're not retroactive.
Correct. So like if they break, then we could require them to put in metal.
I wouldn't see why not. We might get some utility companies coming forth with some reasons as to why
Cost.
they can't. Besides cost, I don't know what other reasons they could concoct. To before they're coming back here, but
And the reason is, we have multiples that have broken, and I anticipate the continuation of them breaking, and they're just going to put the same stuff in, and they'll break again, and it's just
right.
for inconvenience.
As I recall, a lot of these boxes are exposed to elements; they're not buried, and they're a plastic. And given our weather patterns here in Illinois, with the hot and the cold, eventually they become a brittle over a period of time and break. Yes.
Thank you.
Hmm?
One more thing, if
Yep.
I may, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
So the dog park, we visit the dog park. Anybody else visit the dog park with their dogs? And I've had other individuals reach out to me recently. There's always dog messes left in the dog park and toys that get ripped up, and there's stuffing out there right now. You see it littered. It's like snow. Some people are kind enough to pick it up, and along with some other the dog deficit. And so, is there something that we can do? Can we put a camera up over there or something? What I think happens is people let their dogs out. They're in their vehicle. They don't see what's going on when they do their thing, and so they don't have no idea where to pick stuff up or anything like that. Or if we can't enforce something like that, can we have some facility folks or whoever could go out there and just make sure it's cleaned up for people to enjoy? Otherwise, I say we just lock it up if it's just going to be a mess, because it's not good.
Mr. Landers.
Yes, we are looking at putting some lighting up, and I think the intent is to put some cameras up also. That's something we're planning on in the next budget. As far as the waste and things that, we're responsible for emptying the trash cans.
Not picking up.
They
dog
should
waste.
be cleaning up their own mess. There's been some careless use, around the benches. I know some people are concerned about the muddy areas and things like that. We can't really do anything about that now. We can reseed later on when we get closer to spring, and get some better ground conditions. But there's places where pet owners have let their dogs dig holes under the benches. So they're sitting there letting their animals whether they're sitting in their car or they're just sitting there watching them dig holes. So I think the responsibility falls back on the, on the pet owners. And as far as the waste, it's always been, you pick up your own dog's waste, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some cameras put up there, and then I don't know if we'd have to look at the ordinance if there's anything in there where they violate it, not picking stuff up. I'm not for sure how many violations there are. Who would give out a violation, if it's caught on camera, how that's going to work. It's
As
something
far
that people that want to use that, they don't want their dogs, running through it,
as far as I know, there's rules on the board, but they were never made into ordinance or anything like that as the honor system. And Mr. Meister's shaking his head yes. So at this point, we would have to create something, I'm guessing.
Unless the city attorney is aware of something that I'm not, I believe Superintendent Landers is correct. There is no actual ordinance in place to enforce.
I don't believe there is, Chief Meister.
You didn't raise your hand.
Ultimately, if you could prohibit somebody from using or accessing the park if they were irresponsible, but that's about the only option we have.
Mr. Downs, you raised your hand.
I did, yes. So I haven't been out there probably since, I think it was January when I was out there last. It was a nice day in January. And it was very muddy, but I do go out there more than most people, I think. I did take the winter off. I think it's usually pretty clean. If some of you were saying that it was very unclean one day, like that's, I don't know, I would say that's an anomaly. I don't think it's regularly filthy or whatever. I think generally people clean up after their dogs. As far as the camera goes, I'm not opposed to a camera necessarily, but I mean, how are we going to enforce that? Are you just going to watch the camera all day and see who picks it up? That's not going to, that's not a good use of time either. I mean, I agree that there's some people who are abusing a good system, What I do see out there the most, and it kind of bothers me more than what you guys would expect, but I have a small dog, and there's big dogs in the small dog section, and it scares my dog, and that so that's my little gripe there. I'd like to see, and I mean maybe I'll start talking to people if I see it, but okay. I guess the messes are in the big dog area, which I don't typically go to, but yeah, no, I mean I think that Lincoln has a lot of good dog owners. I think dogs are a great thing. I think the dog park is a great thing. So I just want to encourage the community to be good dog parents and pick up after their boys.
Yes, Mr. Anderson.
I'm going to throw this out here, and I may get thrown under the bus on this, but code enforcement officer, could he maybe do a drive-by every once in a while if he sees something, just to educate people? I mean, I'm sure he's got other things to do too, but I'm just trying to think of maybe utilizing some of our resources.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Also, we could, use a police officer. I mean, if he sees somebody out there, I guess I can ask guys to stop and talk to them, make sure they're
More
doing
of an
what
educational.
doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I'll get to you in just a second, Mr. Landers. I personally feel cameras are a great tool. They don't call off work. They don't call in sick. They don't ask for vacation. We don't have to negotiate with them. And they're cheap. We should mount 1 or 2 cameras. I know we've already had the discussion about lighting because I was in a parks meeting, and put up a sign that you're being watched. And I agree with Mr. Downs. It's not a good use of time, but if 4 of us aldermen have access to the dog park camera, I'm not saying we need access to all the city cameras, but the dog park camera, when you're sitting at home and scrolling through videos on your phone, maybe you watch the dog park videos and you find that person that I personally feel there's times that people drive up and drop their dog off and they go to Walmart and then they come back. I've using it as a doggy daycare. So I think a camera should be installed and we can figure out some way and put up a sign that we know it's being abused and we're now aware of it. Mr. Landers.
Yes. And I would agree with you, Alderman Downs. This has not been an issue in the past. I mean, the dog park's been there how long? 3 years, maybe? And this is the first time we've had any issues with it. Other
don't
than
think
that,
it's a
it's
group
always
of
been well taken care of, and, and people would, follow the rules.
I personally don't think it's a group of people. It may be just one or two, but that's just my opinion. Mr. Downs?
I mean, I've never seen a dog there unattended. Not that I'm there all the time or whatever, but I've never once seen a dog unattended. Again, the last time I was there, it was super muddy, so maybe they couldn't see. I mean, the dog park was kind of. I mean, everybody's yard is messed up in the winter, so that's not really nothing you can do about that. But I mean, I guess I just want to reiterate, like, it's worked very well in the past, and I think it's a big asset.
Yes, Mr. Pecky.
Are whatever cameras we have, or the intent for these cameras, are they on a recording loop of 24 hours recording, and then they erase and then they start over? Or
The cell cameras that we have, I think, store for 30 days.
wow, really? Okay. So I mean, if there was an issue, I guess, if it is being checked on,
If issues
No.
if issues are reported, then we can review the video.
right? Go.
You don't necessarily have to sit there and watch them the whole time.
Exactly right. That's the point too. You're not going to sit there and look at it. But when there is an issue of vandalism or whatever, just like any of the other cameras we have, we look to that day or point and then review it. So that would be a good point. Yeah.
Mr. Downs?
In the past, the city has talked about like volunteer efforts for people, like groups, to volunteer to take care of a park. If it continues to be an issue, we could maybe look for a volunteer to go clean up the dog park once a month or something like that. Like they can alternate taking turns, or there's other options we could explore.
Any other announcements? I have one. The John Welch tournament was this weekend. I don't know if any of you got to go. Reached out to the Frobies yesterday. Couldn't get an answer of where all the teams came from. I heard rumors in the stands that there was a team here from Minnesota, but there was 177 basketball teams registered to play in that 2-day tournament this weekend, utilizing nearly every single gym in this town. So hats off to the Frobies and probably the legion of people that helped them put this on. It was very well executed. The Batemans went to six games to watch 6 games. Ended up watching several more just because of excitement, but it is a good thing, and I don't see how any business complained about not being busy, because it was all over Facebook that people couldn't get into Taco Bell or wherever. But 177 teams were in town to play basketball on a 2-day thing. So hats off to them. That was a great thing. Anything else? With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:34 p.m.
Well run, Kevin. Well ran.